Hi everyone, I'm Rachel, and in this tutorial I want to show you how to create a high fashion styled portrait using the Color Therapy app. In this tutorial, I'm going for a magazine style shoot, where the lighting is cascading down on the subject in tones of bright blue, pink, and purple. The overall image is limited to 2 or 3 colors max. You can find the image under Classic, Free, and just scroll down until you find it. Alright, let's go ahead and start by choosing our colors. So in the color palette, go to Basic, select the Basic palette, and then make sure it's set to solid. Just grab a black and a white. And then under the Basic palette, scroll to Dark Shades, and this time set it to Gradient. Choose the very last one, the pinkish purple one. And then back in the same palette, choose a black to burgundy color. And again, in the same palette, let's set it to solid this time, and choose a dark navy blue as well as a dark purple. And then under Basic, go to Vibrant palette this time, and there's a light blue to dark blue, and it goes all the way to purple gradient, so we'll choose that for the headpiece. And let's go ahead and choose a color for her skin tone. So under Basic, scroll to Skin Shades, and I'm going to choose a dark medium skin color as well as a light one for highlights. So I'll make sure it's gradient for the skin tone, just choosing a medium one, and then make sure it's solid for the lighter highlight color for it. And now let's just choose the colors for the lights shining on her face. So a bright pink and a bright blue. So under Basic still, just scroll over to Glow and make sure it's set to solid. I'm just going to choose the last pink there and a bright blue. All right, so let's go ahead and tap to fill. So the background is going to be that pinkish purple gradient that we had from earlier. And I'm going to set the gradient so that it is dark purple to the pinkish color. We're going to pretend that the lights are going to be shining on her from the top right angle down onto her face. And then with her headpiece, I'm just going to use that cool light blue to pink gradient, setting it from light blue at the top and then just tapping to fill it in, just kind of making my own little pattern with it. And I want to add a dark blue to the head wrap as well. So in the Glow palette again, set that to gradient and then just choose a dark purplish blue. And I'll use that as well in the head wrap. Now let's just tap to fill in her skin color with that dark medium color and just set the gradient so that it's lighter on the right side and just tap to fill it in. And then her lips are going to be that black to burgundy color. And we'll make sure that the gradient is top to bottom, light to dark, and just tap it in. Then I'll just tap to fill in her eyebrows and irises with black. And I'll use the same skin color brown for her eyes. Now let's make her come to life with some really cool colors. So in the manual mode, let's open it up, select the airbrush tool. Let's raise the size to about 90% and the opacity down to about 3%. Now let's zoom in, and then on her cheekbone, we're going to add a shadow using that dark purple. So let's go ahead and just start to add that in, just starting to add a bit of a semblance of a cheekbone there. We're going to make her sort of look like she has 2 really bright lights shining on her face from different angles. So she's going to have a lot of really different colors going on there. Now with the same settings, we'll add in a highlight just right above that darker area. So I'm going to use that lighter skin color and just start to add it into her cheek area, just right below her eye, just to start lightening it up. Now I'm going to start to add colors elsewhere. So I'm going to use that bright pink and I'm going to add it to the chin, but we need to change the size and opacity. So let's lower the size to about 25% and then raise the opacity to 60 because we want it to be really bright. And just zooming into her chin, I'm going to add it just above that black line there. And make sure coloring inside the lines mode is on so you don't color into the background. Just adding it really bright, harsh light there. And I'm also going to add it into the right side of the neck, just down there a little bit, and you can make it even brighter in a few areas, as well as her arm here too, just the side of her arm. And then we want to give her a little bit of a pink eyeshadow too. And this is sort of a process of going back and forth with all of the different colors to really just bring up those bright highlights and shadows and colors. Let's switch over to that bright blue we chose, and in the manual mode, let's raise the size to 100 but lower the opacity to 15%. And now we're going to add blue into the face. So I'm going to start to add it here, just along the cheekbone, and it looks kind of weird right now, but we're just going to work back and forth with all the colors until it starts to look realistic. So I'm going to just bring it down here. Now we want to really deepen those shadows and highlights. So using the dark navy as well as the purple, you're just going to start to add in shadows everywhere else. And you can also lower the opacity and the size. So I might lower the size to about 50%. And I'm just going to add in the same type of shadows I would for any other type of portrait. So there would be one here on the side of the neck. And we're also going to add one just right directly underneath that jawbone there. And I'm gonna use the purple as well, and then switching over to that bright blue. So we're just kind of working in layers. So just continue adding in those details. So it looks really nice when you have all of the different colors sort of placed next to each other. So the pink is really up close to the purple, blue, and the bright blue. Again, it does help to have a bit of a reference to look at so that you know exactly how this type of light would hit a subject. Make sure to add a shadow going down from the eyebrow and connect it to the nose. And I'm just really going to deepen those shadows and add in some really bright eyeshadow. Use the white to add in more highlights. So on the just the bridge of the nose and the tip of the nose, you need to add in some bright highlights. Bring it upward and then continue to add them elsewhere as well. And make sure that for the lips, you also add in some highlights. So you want to lower the size to 0 and raise the opacity to 100. And you can add little sort of dots on her lips like that. And that really just adds in some realism. And you can also add in pink into the lips just to brighten it up even more. Don't forget to make the nose look realistic too. Just add in some really dark shadows into the nose using black. There's also these lines in the neck right here that we're going to add so it looks realistic using the blue and purple. And then use black to really deepen those shadows on the left side. So underneath the jawbone, on the arm, on the far left side, and then up against her headpiece on the left side. Again, make sure to add in enough highlights, and that's it. Here's the final portrait with no effects added. You can experiment with other reflective colors on your subject, such as golds and yellows, greens, or oranges. Have fun with it. If you'd like to see more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe to the Color Therapy YouTube channel so you don't miss any new tutorial videos. Thanks for watching our tutorial. You can get the Color Therapy app for free on the App Store.